on. Sorry about the slight hiccup there.
That's okay.
Um, right, we're going to fly straight into it. We have only a limited amount of time with you, and I have loads of questions for you. So let's start, Anne Marie, with I suppose you have a great kind of brand story for the business. You have a family farm there that your dad owns and runs, and then you start producing beetroot juice. How did that whole idea come up?
Okay, so I suppose I grew up on a farm, and I grew up on a farm. My dad started farming back in 1957, I think, and my two brothers are farming at home as well. But really, I suppose me starting to make beetroot juice using the beetroot grown on the farm came about 6 years ago. I wasn't working on the farm or anything like that. I was I'm still living down in Tipperary, and my dad wanted beetroot juice. For people that are actually not familiar with the product, I'll just show them here. So my dad wanted to drink beetroot juice, and he was on the hunt for it. Well, he wasn't on the hunt for it. He had me hunting for it for health reasons. He had read about health benefits for your heart health and taking down high blood pressure. And so really, it really came about by chance, I'd say. So I discovered fairly quickly that there was no Irish brand making it, and I just brought home a German bottler, a UK brand at the time. And it was just a conversation at home back in 2018 that led to, why is there nobody else doing this? And when I said my family are farming at home, they're vegetable and tillage growers. So they'd sow a lot of, I suppose, cereal, corn crops, but also a wide variety of vegetables. Now, beetroot was not really one of their main veg back then, but when I kind of discussed the idea of, God, maybe I'd look into it on the side, because I had a full-time job and life was busy enough as it was, but I said, it's worth looking into. And my dad at the time said he'd sow, an extra amount of crop there or whatever, just to see so I'd have something to work with if something became of it. And so it kind of all stemmed from there, and it grew. I suppose the idea moved on very fast, because I suppose the crop was growing away in the field and it was growing well. And
you have to get the business ready to go.
So there's nothing like that to spur you on and to move things forward. So that's how it really came about back in 2018, 2019. So 6 years later, I'm working on it full time, I suppose, the last three and a half years. So you never know what way your path will turn out.
And it just came to my head that when you mentioned those dates to kind of start a business, 2008 to 2019. Obviously then 2020 we had the COVID. Was that did that affect your business a lot, or were you kind of sheltered a bit from it?
Well, in hindsight, it did probably help the business, but at the time, again, I was only a year in, and the first year was really, really positive. The juice won awards that I wasn't expecting, and it got a load of media attention. Ear to the Ground did a piece on it. So there was a lot happening within the first 12 months, so much so that I decided to be very brave and to up production. So with the view that, everything would be running as normal. But then when COVID hit and all the shops, a good majority of the shops that I was stocked in, they start closing or had limited, opening. People were just going in buying their basics. They weren't shopping around browsing, or what's this new product. They were going in, they were getting their essentials. And I figured that my juice, I could see it all in pallets at home. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to sell this? And while it has a good shelf life, that's not long about being used up. So it did prompt me then. I had done the food academy with Super Value. At the time it was placed in about 6 or 10 shops in the Midlands. And they were like sales in the big supermarkets during COVID. People were going in doing the big shops. And I could see those shops were doing well for me. So that spurred me on to, I suppose, approach other Super Values. And I suppose from that then, I grew from maybe 10 shops to 20 to 40 to 60 to 80 to over 100. So it pushed me forward to go after those shops that maybe I would have been slower, or, just, maybe slower or not as aggressive in
Yeah.
movements there. And also, I would say that around this time, there was a lot of, I suppose, attention to Irish food
True.
producers, support local.
Yeah.
Where's your food coming from? Are you eating healthy? Are you keeping your immune system strong? So there was a lot of attention around that, and people were quick to promote you or quick to tell their friends if they were drinking the juice and were like, well, I feel good drinking this. I feel like it's giving me a boost. It's keeping my immune strength up. So there's nothing like other people to sell your product for you. So I think all of that really did end up helping me, if it didn't frighten me a bit at the beginning.
Yeah. Do you think, a bit of a outdoor question, but do you think there, and I know I don't know the answer to this, like in terms of like healthy eating and people like caring about what they eat and what's going into them, and not eating so much processed food and like fast food restaurants and all that kind of temptations that are out there, do you think there's kind of like more of a focus on that at the moment, like an increased focus recently, or do you think just it's still a bit of a challenge?
No, I actually think that there is. I definitely do see like a movement with that, and maybe even well, in like the nature of my product opens a bit of curiosity with people. Like they're kind of going, beetroot, what's the story with drinking the juice, and a bit I suppose suspicious of it, or not suspicious, even a bit afraid of it. What I will say is, when I started out, tastings are very important with the nature of my product, because people taste it, for the most majority of people, they like it, and they're surprised by how it tastes, because they have their own ideas that it might have a pickle or a kind of an acidity, but it's nothing like that. It's actually naturally sweet. And so I think, so the nature of people, tastings are very important for me and my product. But I remember at the very beginning when I started out, I mean, you wouldn't want to be too sensitive. People were, coming up with like beetroot juice, and the look of horror in their face, and I'd be like, without bullying them into trying it, I'd be like, just, be open to it, or, try it. So they hadn't heard of it so much. Now, when I do the tastings 6 years on, there's not that same reaction. I definitely don't get that. It's almost like they've heard of beetroot juice being more, more normal, and also they're more familiar with the health benefits. So again, back at the start, people were like, why would you drink that? Why is that good for you? And I obviously get loads of questions like that now. People still ask, because there is a wide variety of health benefits associated with it. But I think a lot of people have read about it somewhere, and it's not all coming from my page or from my outlet. So, the people are maybe seeking out this kind of information. They're wanting to know about healthy foods. They're more open to reading up about nutrition and all of that. So I think there definitely is a keener interest among people.
Good. I'm asking that question because I traditionally have eaten quite poorly. I'm not the most healthy guy, but like literally just this year, for whatever reason, I don't know, I've gone on a massive health buzz, cut out all processed food, don't eat fast food, just like really healthy. And I wonder, is it just me alone, or is this, is there something bigger in the
Well, I'll have
space?
questions for you there now. First of all, it's very extreme, but it's good to see that like you're interested in doing it. But how do you feel, and where did your interest come to change over then?
To be honest, so I was always, it was always in the back of my head, like we just like, it wasn't so much when it comes to like eating out fast food and takeaways and stuff. It was just the food we were eating for dinner was overly processed. So like I'd go to the supermarket, I was a great man for like freezer stuff, anything that was simple and quick, bang in the oven. And it's kind of, I'm a chef by background, so like it just, it got a bit much. And then my girlfriend kind of gave me the bit of a push, I think, and we both just went for it. And cut out all like processed foods, just eating like simple, basic, healthy, whole foods. Cut out all processed sugars. So all our sugars now is like, naturally naturally occurring sugars. But it's been amazing. Like like yeah, I don't. It's amazing how I was able to go so quickly from that kind of diet to a really healthy diet and actually not miss it at all. You know, I thought it would be kind of like this. Oh, I want to have a chocolate bar. I couldn't even. It doesn't even bother me now. You know, so. No,
like
it's
the
great.
30-day routine, or just people say you develop a new routine needs to set in over 30 or 40 days. But like, I think there is a lot of people, obviously we're all interested and we're looking at Instagram where, you know, you follow the people that you're interested in, the subjects that you're interested in. But there's people like doing powerful work out there, just spreading very simple messages and making it non-complicated. So like the likes, I think everyone knows Sophie Morris's name at the moment, and she has everyone at the back looking at the back of their ingredients at their, you know, at their shopping. And like I've been in supermarkets lately where I've been doing tastings in stores, and you know, you'd have customers come up and, you know, oh, I'm looking at the ingredients now and tell me what ingredients are in your product. And I'm like, well, this one's really simple. There's actually just 2 ingredients. One's a veg and one's a fruit and nothing else. And they drop Sophie Morris's name so frequently into conversation. And even if I'm just looking around, I watching people in the stores and they're taking up the packets and looking. And I mean, even if they make 1 or 2, you know, better choices, I mean, I suppose I'm all about the 80-20 rule. 80 good, 20 bad. I mean, I have a sweet tooth myself and all the rest. But I mean, if you keep it as clean for the best part, or as most, you know, most you can, I mean, you're going to feel the difference.
For sure. Let me finish up on a few quick ones, Anne Marie. So give me an idea. Just focus on the business again. Obviously, you started like, you know, very small scale, just with a small patch of beetroots. Where's the business at now? Like kind of an idea of where you're at size wise.
Well, I suppose when I started off, I had no expectations, and I was only doing it as a kind of a little project to see how it would go. And then I couldn't hold down 2 jobs, so obviously I wanted to move in and give this every chance and go full time. So it's allowed me to go full time. You know, a couple of years back now. It's allowed for me to, I suppose, increase production, you know, year on year. So my growth is being like a nice, steady growth year on year, a growth that I feel comfortable with. But, you know, there's obviously a lot more beetroot being grown at home. There's a lot more of that being processed and made into juice. I had a second product come online 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. That's for anyone that's interested. The Beet Bullet, that's beetroot shots. So it's for, like, I suppose a lot of the athletes at the time were asking me, do you do the shots? They didn't want to be drinking heavy volumes of beetroot juice before a long run. So that allowed me to develop the beetroot shots. And now I'm actually working on a third product. So that's using the pulp that's left after the beetroot has been juiced. There's a lot of goodness left behind in the pulp. Like,
can you give us information on that, or is that hush hush at the moment?
Well, I'm hoping that I will have a beetroot powder, fingers crossed, at the end of the year, and that has so much, you know, potential there for loads of different reasons. The nutrition alone, for people to add it into, you know, different products, like even a smoothie or whatever, before they go to exercise, you could add it in to add colour back into foods, and just give yourself a nutritional boost in, you know, a very convenient form. So I'm working at that at the moment. So I suppose it's bringing new products in into the line, but also growing your brand, growing your stockists around the country, growing awareness around the product and what it can do for you. So so I'm very happy where things are at, and there's a lot of excitement, you know, a lot of exciting things. I feel potential within the business and things that are happening right now.
Perfect. And where what's the big idea? What's the big goal? Like, where could you see the business being, like, you know, in a couple of years' time? Where would you love to see it?
Well, I really want to keep concentrating in Ireland, because I mean, up until I started, it was all the beetroot juice coming in from the UK, Germany, and lots of people, I suppose, wouldn't have realised, like myself at the time, that beetroot juice, if you look hard enough, it's in all of the big stores around the country. So you've got like Super Value, Dunn Stores, Tesco, It's in like the health food stores. So there's a lot of beetroot juice still coming into this country, and I want to be, I suppose, I want to make sure that I'm well stocked around the country, that people know about the Irish brand now. So I feel there's still a lot of work. I mean, you're a little fish in a big pond. It's just working really hard over the next couple of years to build your brand, build awareness around it, and just, I suppose, lessen the need for so much imported juice to be coming into the country, and for it to be us to be the leading Irish beetroot juice supplier. That's the goal.
Exciting. Let me finish up on last one, Anne Marie. I'm really interested in kind of the retail food product world. Don't know much about it, but I just find it fascinating, all the products that are out there. Any other food or drink product or business that you kind of look up to or admire that's out there?
Oh God, I hate to mention just like one food brand, because I absolutely love my food, and there are certain brands in my fridge like that I really can't live without. They're as essential as milk and butter. So I don't even want to even maybe, like, there's loads of local artisan foods that I really admire, and they're doing great work. I suppose if I was to skip outside of the food, and there is a brand like that I really admire, that they're definitely going places, and have made so much progress over a short space of time, and that's actually a skin brand that's based here in Tipperary, Skin Formulas. And I know the founder. I'm in a group called Acorns, and it's for female women in business in rural Ireland. So I would have started out in Acorns there a couple of years ago with Geraldine was in my group, and I could see that Geraldine had serious drive and determination, and that this business was going someplace. But even in the last 3 years, I mean, it's incredible what she's doing. So outside of food, it's good to look at other brands, and I mean, not necessarily like you're looking to other people and you're being inspired by what they're doing, even though they're not in the same exact industry as you. But there's a lot of overlap as well between one business and the other. So I think that's a very exciting brand that's Irish, that's local to me. I know the founder, and and with other foods, there's too many to mention here.
Perfect.
You'd be asleep by the time I finish.
We'll have to look them up. Right, finish up on this, Anne Marie. Where can people get your product in Ireland? Okay, well, I suppose first, if they want to have a look, they can check out my website. So it's www.feigherysfarm.ie. The website's undergoing a bit of a revamp at the moment, so but there's still lots for them to look through and to see the product there. So you can actually buy it online, my product. But equally, I suppose at the moment I'm stocked in over 100 super values. So there's normally a super value close by to people that they wouldn't have to travel too far to find one. So and I'm stocked in plenty of lovely local artisan food stores, health food stores like Nourish, Evergreen, independent. So there's a good list of stockists on my website also, and people can direct message me, because there's probably some missing from there, and I'll be able to probably direct them as best I could to their nearest shop. Perfect. Hopefully. Anne Marie, thanks so much. It was fantastic to chat to you, and it was great to hear about your story. Great, thank you very much.